Went out. Can you guys see me? Hi guys! Happy Saturday. I hope you're having a beautiful day so far. I am not usually on here on Saturdays, but my schedule worked out that today I could come chat with you guys. So I hope that you're having a great weekend so far, and I want to talk about how to get back on track after you've fallen off a little bit, which is something that happens to all of us. And this is something I get asked about quite a bit. I've covered this question on the podcast, and I was actually out and about this morning in LA. I was over in Brentwood, and I had this question come up by a reader that I met in person. And anytime that we see each other, please come up and be sure to give a hug. And she was saying how she had gotten into beauty detox. She had read some of my books, but then she got off track, and then she wasn't sure how to get back on. So I just wanted to give a little bit of love and support around this topic. Hi guys, starting to come in, Bharat and Troy. Hope you guys are staying cool and having a great day no matter where you are right now in the world. Hi Anthony and hi Sarah. So I'll just say personally, when I used to be so much harder on myself, and when I would mess up, there was so much rigidity in my life. When I would mess up, when I would eat properly, not properly combined foods, or I would kind of binge on a big dessert or whatever, I would just hold on to this bad feeling for a while. And what I realized over time for myself, that bad feeling actually really does have a measurable impact on our digestion. It doesn't do any good. So now if I feel like eating a treat, I mean, it's gotten me a long time to get here, a recovering perfectionist, someone that's always been naturally really hard on themselves. I just really don't feel bad. I have the things I remind myself is that it matters more how we're eating long term versus every little meal, or versus a period, or when I'm traveling where I'm not eating on point. I remind myself that none of us have to be perfect, that we're striving for 80%. And I also try to get out of past, future-minded thinking, as far as, oh my gosh, I'm never going to recover from this, or how am I going to get back, or just feeling so bad about the past and beating myself up over and over again. And this really keeps us bloated, I think. I think there's so much connection between the mind and the gut. We're learning more about the gut-brain axis, and there's more and more clinical research proving this, but we can just find it intuitively that when we feel like we let go in our bodies, okay, I ate that, whatever, I'm not going to beat myself up, like what's the big deal? It actually, in our mind, it actually translates, I think, to moving through that period, whether it's a day, a meal, or a few days. It moves us through faster. That negativity, that beating ourselves up, actually keeps us trapped in the cycle longer. And I think most of us already have way too much guilt. We are so hard on ourselves. So bringing in more of that compassion and that love and that letting go, it's going to be really, really important. So I just want to say that right off the bat. Hi Gloria, she said she went off track. Yes, I know so many of us do. Cynthia says I've been going for 3 months straight and you fell off. Yeah, so I will just say, you know, we not to deny that we're off track, to recognize it, but to not put too much energy in feeling bad and making comments to ourselves and to our friends, disparaging comments of like, oh, I'm doing so bad, or I messed up, and just the verbal reinforcement doesn't help anything. So wherever we are, just recognizing, but not going too far down that path of obsessing over it. The thing that's been really helpful for me in getting back in track is clarity. So I think to myself, I write it down in my journal. So this is something that when I get off track makes me feel good, is to really write down in my journal. So I'm connecting my hand to my brain. What do I want to feel in my body? And it's about a feeling. I take it out of numbers. I haven't owned a scale in years, and I think for me, ironically, since I let go of numbers, you guys here, I don't talk about calories, I never talk about how much I weigh, I don't really talk about numbers. Since I let go of that rigidity, I feel like it's been much easier for me to stay on track. It's been much easier for me to maintain my weight. I actually did get weighed yesterday randomly because I went for a routine checkup and a pap smear. TMI, but something we have to do every so often. And they weighed me, and I was like, oh wow, you know, that's a weight that I, you know, whatever, it's, you know, good weight, whatever. But I used to be so attached to it. I used to obsess about my weight. I used to weigh myself every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. And that would really keep me in this cycle of I'm on or I'm off. I'm eating perfectly, or I effed up and now I'm fully off track. So for me, letting go of the scale and focusing more on how I feel in my clothes, in my body, in my belly, not being bloated, and taking the steps to really reinforce that has been this huge part of freedom for me, and something I would love to see for you as well. So you can think about it, but I think it's really helpful to get rid of a scale and stop weighing yourself every day and focus more on the feelings. So when you journal in the morning, and I journal every morning now, even if it's just for 2 minutes, I just think it's so great to connect with clarity. How do I want to feel in my body? I want to feel light, I want to feel fit, I want to feel strong, I want to feel powerful, whatever it is, whatever words you want to use. Just having that clarity as you go into the day is going to help connect you with the wholeness. That's going to get you back on track. Then I always say with my clients, with my readers, with our community, with everyone, it's really great to start in the morning. So when you feel like you're getting off track, just really planning for the next morning, wherever that is, setting yourself up, getting lemon so you can get your hot water with lemon, getting your SBO probiotics, making your GGS the night before if you need to alleviate stress or excuses of like, oh, I just don't feel like making it in the morning, I'm tired or whatever. So set yourself up for that next morning. So when you get up in the morning, first thing, breathe, do a little meditation, then get out your journal and just write, even if it's a few minutes. You know, today I'm committed to feeling light. I'm committed to feeling energized in my body. I want to feel this way. And when we really connect with the feelings we have, to me, that's a lot more powerful than connecting with numbers. It's experiential. It's how we want to experience life. And so that can be the impetus to pull us out of this, you know, just dark place we're in, out of this rut that we're in, when we start to remember how good we can feel. And we know we've all connected with feeling good, and feeling good really does feel good, but sometimes we just get into a cycle where we need treats, we're stressed, stuff's going on at work, in our personal life, we feel overscheduled, whatever it is, and we turn to food. And it's not where we want to be, and we start to feel like a prisoner to the food, and we don't know how to get back out. So to me, getting out is just the clarity of where we want to go. It's like a map. Oh, I want to get here. So then we can start to work backwards and really reinforce our daily practices and what's going to help us get to that place and stick to that map. So again, very much for me, I recommend very much starting in the morning. So you set yourself up, we're going into the day, the sun is rising, it signals to ourselves we're going into a new cycle now. We might have been in a little bit of a dark place, diet or wellness wise or whatever, but now we're going back into this light place. So we start with the morning, which sets us up for helping us ward off food cravings, be more in touch with our hunger, really nourishing our liver, which is our main fat burning organ. So it could be as simple as meditating, journaling, making hot water with lemon. That can be the first little step into getting back on track. You're not starting by, binging on processed protein bar or a bunch of coffee with sugar or dairy in it, but something that's actually really good for you. And it starts to pivot. Now we're going in a different direction. We're going towards the light. It seems like a small step, but it's actually really, really powerful. And now we can go into a different cycle. We're moving out of the dark, so to speak, and we're coming into the light. So that's in the next morning. So the day before, if you're still feeling guilty about what you've eaten, or you're still feeling like you're in a rut, I would say start to channel some of that energy into positive action, which is walk down to your grocery store or the corner of deli or wherever it is and get yourself a bag of lemons and your GGS ingredients. That's going to do 2 things. It's going to set you up. You may still feel bloated and guilty and not good in your body, but you're setting yourself up. You're on the path towards the light. Get your stuff so you're ready for the next day. Go for a walk, move your body, get some circulation going. Start to connect with your belly as you're walking. There's so much You know, people ask me all the time now about how I move and how I exercise, and the reality is I don't do that much yoga at this moment. I love walking. I love grounding. I'm barefoot on the beach almost every day. I didn't do it today, but most every day I'm grounding and I'm walking. But I do feel really fit through my midsection, and that's because when I walk, I really do try to connect with my belly. I have good posture, and walking does work your core if you're walking in a mindful way. And it just starts to feel really, I feel really strong when I walk. I feel like I'm, walking in the world, and I'm directing myself, and I focus on good posture, and I feel rooted in the earth. There's a saying in yoga, you may have heard your teacher say it if you go to class, it's root to rise. We need to root down before we can rise up. We want to have good posture before we can lengthen our abdominal muscles and feel really good and feel strengthened. And that's part of good circulation and deep breathing and de-bloating and losing weight. It's all interconnected. So I would say start walking in part of your practice. It can take a lot more. I feel like, so much effort to sign up for this super intense bar class, which I don't personally do. I don't love them. Or boot camp class or whatever it is. But get outside and walk. Put on your hat if it's sunny, put some chemical-free sunscreen, get outside and just move your body, connect with your core, have good posture. And then when you get back, you can do a little bit of stretching, a little bit of cat-cows, move your spine, so to really get integrated into your body. A lot of times when we get off track, we're so disconnected from ourselves. We're just so in the moment of like, this tastes good, and oh my gosh, all the worry and all the stuff with the deadlines, or you just broke up with someone, or whatever it is in your life, we get disconnected from ourselves. So we have to get reconnected with ourselves if we want to get back on track. There's no way out of it. That's how we stay on track as well, because we're connected to feeling good in this experiential mode versus, again, the numbers and the guilt about the calories or the sugar or the protein grams. All this stuff is out here, but first we need to connect in here. So walking, get outside, put on your sneakers and your sun hat, go for a walk, connect with your belly. Go get your lemons, go get your GGS ingredients, go get your SBO probiotics if you haven't yet. Big part of the program, which I'm very passionate about. You can check them out on the website if you don't have them already. So set yourself up for the morning. And I would say that is a lot in pulling yourself out. It's important. It depends on your personality. Maybe you don't want to get overwhelmed and do everything at once, because I know personalities that either are on or they're off. And I want us to start thinking more long-term and more lifestyle. So I would rather you really get your morning routine down and do that 3 to 5 times this week than get obsessed about lunch or dinner. We can focus on that later. First, I want you to just move a little bit more. Get reconnected with your body. Get in tune with your body and start to notice, like, I actually feel, besides, I'm tired, or, just kind of blanket statements to say, I actually feel hungry now, or I feel anxiety, I feel, just start to really separate from your feelings, but still connect to them. But no, it's not just you. It's not, if you think you are your feelings completely, then we'll feel overwhelmed all the time. But it's a practice I started doing a couple years ago when I was meditating and starting to notice, and I still have to work on it a lot myself, because I certainly get impatient and I get swept up into all this stuff. But if I can sit and say, that anxiety is starting to come up, and I just start to notice it, I can sit with it a little bit more, versus in the past I would automatically reach for something to appease it. It was most often chocolate, or some kind of dessert, some kind of cookie, eating too many truffles, or eating a bunch of cashews, or whatever it was. But if I can sit with it a little bit longer, I can connect, and then I don't feel as dominated by the food as I used to. And believe me, that I've had years and years of feeling like a prisoner to food. And feeling like it was impossible to really stay on track. And it wasn't until I started to connect the dots with all this stuff that we talk about, it really is more of a holistic approach, because I find that that's what has worked for me, and that is what has kept me off the yo-yo diets, which was such a big part of my path. And I'm grateful, I'm glad I experienced it, because I wouldn't be able to really speak to you from that perspective if I didn't suffer that much in my own body. But now I don't, and I don't want you to suffer as well. And I know how frustrating it can be to be like up on this or that. I'm following this diet, now I'm following this. I'm on beauty detox or I'm off. Versus, hey, I'm doing my best. I got my morning routine down. I'm walking more. I'm connected. I'm journaling. I'm, paying more attention to my feelings. And that is a way to much more long-term get out of the rut and get out of the heaviness. And I think that's going to serve us a lot in the long term. Silva says, hi Kimberly, I was on vacation and so much cheese and sugar. When I got back, I started doing my GGS again. Is that enough to help me lose my vacation weight? So Silva, I would say, that's a great start. Like I said, I think that we want to start taking steps where we are. Having your GGS is going to reintroduce fiber and it's going to help get you back on track. But if we have had a period where we were on vacation or a weekend or a month or a few months or wherever where we ate really heavily, we need support in getting it out of our system, which is where I love to just mention briefly the detoxy. Kind of bright in here right now. You can find it on the website, KimberlySnyder.com. This is not a laxative. It's oxygen that just helps flush out. If we feel, so sometimes we eat really heavily or we eat a bunch of fried food, we go to a baseball game or whatever we're doing, picnic barbecue in the summer, and then we decide to get back on track. But there's this transition period where that heavier food, that congestive food is still in our body. And it can get impacted in our digestive tract. We're not pooping it all out right away. It's kind of sitting in there. And so there's this lag between feeling really good and feeling that, we're really making a difference as we go forward and being stuck in that old period. And that's where the detoxy is really powerful because it moves us through. So it's letting go. We let go physically, then we can let go mentally, and then we can go forward. If we're stuck in the past, it's very hard to move forward. So the detoxy is very helpful with that, and that does help with balancing digestion, which does, is linked to weight loss, of course. Joy says, I love my morning ritual of hot water with lemon. That's amazing. Carrie Ann Regnier. Hi, Carrie Ann says, I love your books and views, but I'm not vegan. Is this okay, and can I still follow your plans? Absolutely, Carrie. I always say, it's not all or nothing. I have a lot of clients, a lot of friends, a lot of family members, a lot of readers that aren't vegan. But what we do want to adhere to are the basic principles, the basic ideals. So even though you're not fully vegan, you can follow the morning routine. You can have your hot water with lemon, your GGS, your meditation practice, your journaling, your SBO probiotics. I don't recommend having animal protein in the morning for sure because it will weigh you down. You can save it for later in the day, but I would cut out the egg white omelets, things like sausage, deli meats, chicken sandwiches. I know this sounds crazy for some of us, but I do know people that eat chicken sandwiches in the morning or, bacon, eggs, whatever you're eating. I would just say in the morning, keep it light, keep your digestion flowing, keep your energy and your vitality on point. So you don't have to be all or nothing, but you can stick to the basic principles. I would also say to just introduce a lot more plant-based meals and a lot more plant-based food. It doesn't mean it has to be all that way, but when you look at your plate, having lots of salads, lots of veggies, only plant foods have fiber, and fiber will clean you out. And the more I go along this path, the more respect I have for plants. There's a bioenergetic impact that plants have on us that can't be deduced down to just how much iron and riboflavin and B12 are in these plants, but actually the energies of them and the way that they interact with our bodies. So for instance, I'm really, really into this one plant right now. It's this green called ashitaba. It's grown traditionally in Japan, but it's called the tomorrow plant because you cut it and it regenerates the next day it grows back. So imagine the energy of that plant and that ability to recreate itself. And imagine when we eat that plant, how it's helping our skin, our energy, our vitality regenerate. It's very, very powerful. So there's something about the energy of plants that is real plant medicine. It's such an amazing thing to put into our bodies. So the more we connect with that, that's a big part of my program, is just connecting to how we feel, connecting to this everyday magic and not being a slave to numbers and charts and being so obsessed and rigid about the way we're eating and the way we're living. if we can free ourselves more from that and let go, I feel like we will have an easier time with our weight and our skin and our energy. Things fall into place naturally. It's ironic, you know, but if you read the Tao Te Ching, if you read some of these great ancient spiritual texts, there's so much about less efforting and less doing. And I didn't understand it years ago. I used to think, oh my gosh, I have to plan more. I have to make these really fancy recipes all the time. I have to do a certain amount of hours of yoga a day. And it wasn't until I started letting go and letting myself flow more and being more in tune and connected. My gosh, it's so much easier. It doesn't mean every day is amazing. It doesn't mean that I don't have struggles and food cravings, because I do. But overall, my lifestyle is a lot easier, and I feel better in my body. So I would just encourage you, you know, whether it's not about labels, it's not full vegan or not, or, you know, this or that. It's just about being in flow, following the basic principles, light to heavy. If you want to read more about beauty food pairing, just eating nutrient-dense food, starting the morning ritual, really focusing on good sleep. This is really what the lifestyle is about. It's not about hard and fast labels. Andrea says, what sunscreen do you use? So I like Suntegrity a lot. I've had Trisha, the founder, on my podcast, Beauty Inside Out, if you guys want to check it out. Sometimes I don't talk about that on here, but I have a podcast too, if you guys don't know that. But she's fantastic, and I really trust her, and I like to know founders of brands before I really wholeheartedly recommend them, and she doesn't cut any corners. Elisa says, I don't love the last bar class I went to. I enjoyed it, but before that, yes. Aldo went to boot camp class this morning. Hey, listen, if it makes you feel good and you love that kind of movement and exercise, go for it. It's just not personally what feels good to me, but of course a lot of people love them, and so I just think it's about being authentic. Elaine says, I love your books, and I want to thank you. Thank you so much, Elaine, for being part of the community. I love you. I am so happy that we are connected and we're here to support each other. I'm so grateful. Emily says, eating clean or not, is it okay to take it daily? I'm not sure what you mean, Emily. Are you talking about the detoxy? Next question. I meant to ask whether it's been eating clean or not, it's okay to take detoxing on a daily basis as long as we feel good and we feel regular. So for me, I took detoxy every day for about 2 years, 2+ years. I eat pretty clean. Again, I'm certainly not perfect, and I would never want anyone to believe that I am, because I'm not. But I eat pretty clean a lot of the time, we'll say, and I still take detoxy, you know, just being totally real here, 3 to 5 times a week. And it's not just for me, the flushing out. Oxygen is really anti-aging. It's really just nourishing for our organs, for our cells, for our tissues. I think it's really great for our skin. So I take it for other reasons. I think it's part of maintenance. I think it's part of vitality. I think it's part of feeling good and yes, looking good. So it's something I take quite regularly, but I monitor the amounts. And the weeks where I'm taking it quite a bit, I don't take as many a day. I may take more like 3. When I'm taking it 3 times a week, I take more like 4 or 5. But yes, I think it's part of, again, long-term vitality. Megan says, is it okay to still have coffee in the morning? Is it after the GGS fast? So Megan, yes, if you want to have some coffee in the morning, I would just ask to please make sure it's organic if at all possible. If you're going to have it after the GGS, yes, have your GGS first, wait 25 minutes if possible, and then you can have your coffee. And sometimes you may not need it right then. You could wait a little bit longer because you have so much energy from your GGS. But I understand the ritual of having something nice and hot. It's so hot in LA, and I love hot tea. I still drink my hot tea because I like the ritual of it. And I have this cool little Japanese press. So I understand rituals and practices, and for many of us, we love coffee. So that's really cool. So how do you spell it? Detoxy. So I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but there's some cool, very interesting upgrade that we're putting into the Detoxy, which I will be announcing in the next few weeks, that will make it even more powerful for skin health and reducing DNA degradation and just keeping us really healthy and vitality all around. But I'm not going to talk about it quite yet, but it's coming, and it's very it's a unique proprietary upgrade that I'm doing, so I'm really excited about it. I've been working on it for a while. Katrina says, I was living in a hotel for 10 weeks for work with no kitchen, so my diet wasn't always good. Luckily, I was taking my SBO probiotics and detoxy. I noticed that they helped my digestion a lot, and I had a lot less bloating. That's amazing. Yay! So, Katrina, God bless you. That's a long time to be in a hotel without a kitchen. When you guys are traveling on the road, another thing that you can take are those like shaker bottles and individual protein packets. You can store coconut water in your fridge. A brand I like a lot for protein powder is Sun Warrior. And I like the mocha a lot, and the chocolate. I'm a chocolate lover. So you can just make a very simple protein smoothie, and when you're in a bind, and chia seeds too you can add in. When you're in a bind, you can make the simple protein smoothies. Sometimes people ask me about bars, and there's so many bars out there, but I hate to say most of them are absolutely crap. I don't like the RX bars. I don't like most of the bars. But there is a brand, the Lara bars are very clean. They can have a lot of dates. I don't like to eat them every day. I mean, most of them have a lot of sugar anyway. It's not perfect, but there's a brand called Greens Plus that sometimes if I really feel like having a bar, I'm traveling, I may have something like that. In the hotel room, I would also say, seeds, nuts, kale chips. You can stock like your little, pseudo pantry over there. You can certainly have lots of dried foods and almonds and chocolate, of course. So you can have certain foods, but of course you're not going to be able to have your full range. But I love, stay on track, having the detoxy, the SBO probiotics, and the digestive enzymes, which I have here. I take them all the time too. We didn't talk about these. These are my other love. I take these, right now I'm taking them 3 of them before lunch and dinner. I'm in a phase right now where, and this is a whole other discussion, and we don't have to talk about it right now, but there's so much about no grain diets. And I spoke about this extensively in Radical Beauty, my book with Deepak. I do eat grains. I love sprouted brown rice. I do sprouted. I love quinoa, which is technically a seed, but these are parts of my life, and I get a lot of energy. There's so many healthy cultures in the world that eat grains. So I eat wraps every day. I'm not one of those people that says no grains. And, I've read the books. I've read Grain Brain, and Gluten Belly, or whatever all those books are. I understand and I totally respect the different opinions, but I myself feel like when I sprout the grains, and which removes the lectins and the phytic acid, I feel energized when I have these foods combined with salad and combined with veggies. I feel hungry, or I just don't feel good if I try to cut all grains or all carbs out of my life. But anyways, the reason I bring this up is because I've been having a lot of rice lately. I'm just in a phase right now, and I take 3 digestive enzymes before I eat the rice and the veggies, and I feel great. So that's another thing you can do when you're traveling or wherever. Sue says, what about enemas? How often do you use enemas, and what solution, water or coffee? This program has changed my life. Thank you. Amazing, Sue. So happy to hear. I am so honored to be, to share. I just love to share because I've been through so much of this myself that you guys are asking me. So there's different philosophies around the coffee and the water enema. Some will say the coffee is actually stimulating your liver because the enterohepatic exchange between your colon and your liver. So you're going to get toxins out with the coffee. I personally use water in my enemas. I just don't drink coffee. I don't really want it in my body, even if it's organic. I just think there's compounds in it. I don't want it being absorbed directly by my colon. Again, this is my personal opinion. There's people that will swear by coffee enemas. I totally respect it. I just use plain filtered water. You do want to make sure you have some kind of shower filter, or ideally, or a full house filter. Which I don't in this house. I moved in here a couple months ago. I don't have a whole house filter. I did in my last house. So we do our best. I do enemas now, weekly for sure. It depends on the week when I'm traveling. Sometimes I take it, sometimes I don't want to travel with it. It really depends. I haven't found a great colon therapist here in LA that I love. I've tried a few. Sorry if you're listening to this. I wish you the best. In New York, I had two I was very, very close to. So I do enemas. I think for me, it just feels good to, sometimes I need that physical help. I've, dealt with lifelong constipation, and I was never a great bathroom goer. So I need some support. I take the detoxy, and I do enemas weekly. And that's just what works for my body. How do you feel refreshed in summer without cold water? Andrea says. Well, we could have room temperature water. I just don't really recommend icy. Sometimes you want an icy drink. You're at a barbecue. You're going to have something out of the cooler. That's fine. But I feel when I have hot tea, and people think this is funny, I order it all the time. We actually prompt our internal cooling mechanism, and our bodies start to cool down from the inside, which I think is really, really powerful. So it's something that we can try. And also, I do a lot of different podcasts with Charlene Avery. You guys should check her out. She's so brilliant, talking about essential oils. Mists are really great. She talks about peppermint a lot. In the summer is a really great fragrance that will calm us down. Scent impacts the limbic brain. It affects our moods, so we can actually start to feel cool in our mind and not so agitated. The summer really brings out our pitta and our fire. So it's a fun time of year, but we can also get super agitated. So essential oils are a really great way to work with that as well. Cindy says, what is the brand of coffee you drink? Cindy, I don't drink coffee, my love, but if you were to drink coffee, I would say to make sure that you do check out the same, that you check out that it's organic. Elaine says, does Detoxy have the same benefits? She's talking about a different brand here, the MAG brand. I stopped using the MAG brand when I found that there was just some additives, some certain things in the coating that I didn't like. The Detoxy is really, really clean and really, really pure. But there is a similar philosophy. But again, I stand by the Detoxy. I'm very involved in the formulation and how it's created, and I can say 100% it's very, very pure, and there's no additives in the the capsules or anything like that. And like I said, I'm going to be introducing an exciting new upgrade in a few weeks, which will make it far above anything that's out there. And I'm really excited to share with you guys. You can check it out. Tina says, hi Kim, I work in a factory and the air is terrible and heavy in the summer. Oh, do you have any suggestions to help with my breathing and keeping my body as clean as possible? So Tina, I'm not sure in the factory if you are in one station or if you are walking around in the different areas, but one thing you can do if you are in one area is just to bring oh my gosh, I have a list in here in Radical Beauty, to bring in either a spider plant or hold on a second, I'm going to look it up right now. Plants that clean the air, and bring it into your area. Plants. I'm going to read you the list right now so you don't have to look anywhere, but I would love for you to have a plant in your area. And NASA did a study on some of these plants, and it was actually really powerful how they were able to clean the air. It's not just, oh, this looks nice and whatever. There actually is research around this. If I can find it in here. I'm going to find it. I'm committed to finding it for you. Oh, here it is. NASA found that plants can purify your home, absorbing chemical pollutants given off by synthetic materials. According to NASA, some of the best plants to promote indoor air quality are spider plants, peace lily, bamboo, snake plant, heartleaf philodendron, elephant ear philodendron, and Dracaena, if I'm saying that right. Dracaena. Can you guys see that? Dracaena. So first thing I would say, Tina, if you can get a little air filter, fantastic, but at least a little bamboo or snake plant would be a really great way for you to clean the air. Trying to go outside, step away anytime you can for breaks, for lunch. Also, it's not going to clean the air, but it can affect if it's affecting your mood, you can use some different essential oils and keep them around. But You know, I'd really love for you to get a plant, something that's going to really actually physically clean the air around your space a little bit for you, I think is really important. And while you can't control your work, having really, really clean air at home so that there is that balance is really great. So making sure you're using clean, really clean cleaning products at home, or DIY ones with things like apple cider vinegar, or not apple cider vinegar, that's really expensive vinegar, just any kind of vinegar to clean the home, and lemon and things like that, and investing in an air filter for when you sleep, so at least you're getting really high quality air when you're not at work for the balance. But again, oh my gosh, I hope you can get a plant at work at least, or an air filter there, and let me know how that goes. I'm a little bit now I'm going to think about you and worry about you a little bit, but let me know, Tina. Katie says, I've been using Detoxy, I'm getting headaches, am I not drinking enough water? Yes, if you are using Detoxy and you are having more bowel movements, you absolutely need to be drinking a lot more water. Okay, beauties. Let's see, don't mix or having better digestion. What about mixing protein and carbs like rice and beans? Is it better not to mix? Okay, so rice and beans is a really great combination. Actually, it's going to be a little bit hearty, but beans and legumes combine as protein or starch. So you can definitely have rice and beans. It's going to feel hearty. It's going to feel great. Take your digestive enzymes before, and it's a great meal. I would recommend having a green salad first, taking your digestive enzymes, and not just having a big, huge thing of rice and beans, but rice and beans and veggies. Okay, my loves, well, I am going to sign off here. I am so happy we had some time together on our Saturday. I send you so much love wherever you are, whatever you're doing the rest of the day. Thank you so much for being connected in our community. Please remember to subscribe, because I'm on here very random times. And if you want to go further into learning more about the questions, a little bit more in depth, remember that you can check out my Beauty Inside Out podcast, where I answer questions every week, and also do interviews every week, or solo casts. So sending you so much love. I'm so grateful for you. Remember how powerful you are. Remember, you are a unique voice. You are a gift to the world. So take care of yourself, nourish yourself, rest, eat well, just go chill, and never beat yourself up if you get off track. Just focus on the next morning, take the steps you need to, but also be kind and loving with yourself, because you are amazing. And I will see you back here very soon. Take care, my love.